When I started reading this chapter, by the looks of it, honestly, I thought that this was going to be how strong am I and how weak are you type of a chapter, where the villain boasts about how strong he is and how little chance does the hero has in saving his nakamas, saving the world, and defeating the villain. And for the most part, this entire chapter was pretty much that. I mean, you have both Hashwald and Yuha say the same old shit that they always do. But there are a few things that are a bit different in this chapter, and they kind of changed my mind over the way I was looking at it. One is quite intriguing, and I have a few theories, and second one has hyped me up. It has really hyped me up. And honestly, from the time when Ichigo got his new swords, this shit has been building up. So yes, this is legitimately what we were waiting for a very long time, except of course the arrival of Aizen on the Soul Palace. Yes, I'm still waiting for that thing to happen. Yeah. But the thing that we were waiting for the entirety of this whole arc, where from when Ichigo got his new powers, not new powers, but he unleashed his entire potential. Now is the moment when he released it. And that is where the chapter ends. So let's kind of shift back a bit so that I could kind of discuss over a few points that I really wanted to discuss. Now, the first point is the whole Hashwald and Uryu conversation. Now, Uryu pretty much asks Hashwald that why have you been keeping me alive for this long? I mean, you clearly have an upper hand in this battle. You clearly are the one who could easily defeat him, not just defeat him, could murder his ass in like 2 seconds, because Uryu is pretty much bleeding. He has one leg in his grave, and he is not in a good shape, even though he has released a new type of bow, and he right now is stabilized and he still is in some condition to fight. He still is quite curious about why has he not being responsible enough to finish his job, to finish off Uryu and to move on and go back to Yuha. He also mentions that your powers, the power of the Almighty, is not a completely foolproof ability, at least when it comes to when Hashwald uses it. It's not an ability where you could completely rely on it, because he was able to defy this ability and he was able to change a few things. I'm talking about Uryu. He was able to change a few things, and Hashwald wasn't able to see those coming, and that did surprise Hashwald. So if in these small moments, if Hashwald using Almighty couldn't see these things coming, it could also apply on big events, and that could also lead to the defeat of both Yuha and his entire plan of merging the whole Soul Society and Waco Mundo and the real world that we are living in. Hashwald replies that the ability of the Almighty is not just limited to seeing the future. It's just not something that could just predict the future. It's way more than that. And there he stops and he says that I'll explain everything to you once we're done with our little battle over here. And we move on from that scene. Now, the one thing that I was curious about was, yes, why wasn't he doing what Uryu was expecting him to do, which is kill his ass, kill Uryu, and then move on to Yuha? Why wasn't he doing that? Because logically speaking, that would have been way more sensible than just waste time over here. Because even though the odds are very much stacked against Ichigo when it comes to strength, it's still a very stupid decision for not taking the precaution that, seeing the fact that Ichigo was amongst the war potentials, things could turn. Like, at least 1 in a million, there is a chance where things could go wrong. And it seems as though that Hashwold is taking that chance. And that did kind of made me question about what exactly is going on in Hashwold's mind. And then it also kind of made me question what exactly are the abilities of Almighty that we are not aware of. Now, the fact is that we know what is the abilities of Almighty, which is to predict the future and to come up with a suitable outcome which would prevent Yuha or Hashwold into getting in that situation in the first place. Now, if at all, by chance or any chance, they get in this situation, what will happen? I think that there are more functions in the abilities of Almighty, which probably, now these are my speculations, probably include is that A, the events that led to the scenario. The ability of Almighty would change those events completely and would change space and time itself and revert back to those the moment before these events takes place. That is what I think could be the ability. The second ability that I think is very much simple, to be honest with you. I think that the second thing that Almighty can do is pretty much change and manipulate the future itself, or as you have said, to design circumstances in a way which would come in the favor of Yuha itself. On one side he can completely manipulate the events which would lead to a dangerous future where he has a very less chance of winning, or he could just manipulate the scenario the whole time where he has the upper hand. These two are the factors that I think could be the extension of Almighty. So, what else happens? Well, by the time Yuha was fighting Ichigo, he pretty much observed that Ichigo wasn't backing down. He was charging at Yuha, getting his ass kicked, again charging at Yuha, getting his ass kicked, getting healed by Orihime. Orihime tries to stop him, to tell him to calm down, think before he acts, and ignoring whatever she says, goes back, gets his ass kicked, and pretty much Yuha is playing around with him, which I still think that is a stupid idea, where you know that you have an upper hand over this guy. You can pretty much beat his ass, kill him right now, but you still want him to give his 100%, which obviously is very arrogant when it comes to villains, especially when it comes to long running shonen, where the enemy itself gives so many chances to the hero to kind of reveal his final form or reveal his true potential. I mean, we saw this in Yu Yu Hakusho, and I guess Kubo is trying to do the same thing over here. I don't know. I mean, at least in Yu Yu Hakusho, uh, the whole situation was that Toguro wanted to aspire Yusuke. He wanted to set free himself from the burden that he had, and the way he wanted to die was by being defeated by a worthy opponent, and not just die by some uh, other causes. He just wanted to die by fighting someone who was very strong. This is not the situation. This is something which is just showing how arrogant Yuha is, where he's pretty much teasing Ichigo right now that if you die over here, dude, you're fucked. The world is fucked. You probably are the only person who can defeat me, and you aren't even giving your 100%. So, when finally Ichigo stops, he starts accumulating Ryatsu. He says this to Orihime that, okay, I wasn't just fooling around, I was actually accumulating Ryatsu, Quincy Ryatsu, and slowly the blade, the large blade, it starts changing color. It kind of shows blue twain. I mean, it looks like blue twain at the beginning, at the tip of it. Okay, and it starts getting brighter and brighter, and it turns white. The only thing that we got was from Orihime, of course, that she saw that was that the blade was turning white, and as the blade turns white, a massive eruption of energy takes place, and then they cut to, of course, Ichigo's new transformation. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Is this his Bankai? Which I don't think that this is his Bankai. No, because usually what happens is that when you go in your Bankai, you yell or at least say the word Bankai. This time Ichigo hasn't said that. Now that does not mean that this couldn't be his Bankai, or this could be just a new form of Bankai where you don't even have to say the word Bankai to release it. But as far as my views are concerned, as far as my opinion is concerned, I don't think that it is his Bankai. Unless, of course, we haven't seen his face. We have seen his face. We have only seen his face. We haven't seen his entire outfit. We haven't seen his sword. And plus, seeing his outfit, whatever we can see from about his shoulder, his clothes are pretty much torn off. And this is something which shouldn't be happening in his Bankai, because remember, his Bankai is his clothes are a part of his Bankai. They are part of his Ryatsu. And even if they seem to show some damage while in his regular form, they kind of do reconstruct in his Bankai. So I don't think that this is his Bankai. I think that this is his potential, where he is using this is the potential that he is using in his regular state, where he is using all of his abilities of Quincy, of Shinigami and of Hollow, a mixture of this ability. And I am very curious. I am hyped as fuck right now to know how exactly is this going to turn out. Because remember, guys, this is the moment that we were waiting for since the time Ichigo got his two swords. Yeah, the only thing that is going to make me more excited about after what we saw over here is the arrival of Aizen. Bring Aizen back, guys. Seriously, what the fuck is wrong with you, Kubo? Why is he still in the chair? I know I'm still thinking about the whole chair thing, but come on, you have to bring him back. We need to see what he can do. Plus, we also need to see what Ichigo can do. I mean, come on, his look his new look kind of looks badass. You know, he has this one horn over here. He has these black stripes over here, and it seems that he has turned white in color. It seems that he kind of looks like Vasto Lorde, except he has just one horn, and his hair has turned spike. It's pretty much is standing right now, kind of like a Super Saiyan, and even his hair has turned white. And if I'm not wrong, his pupils have also changed color. I'm not sure about that, but I think his pupils have also changed color. So what I think is that this ability of his will at least do good against Quincy, because Quincy and Hollow, they don't work with each other that well, you know. So I do think that at least when it comes to fighting Quincy's, his abilities would work. I don't know about the god that he absorbed. I don't know the abilities of Soul King would affect anyways over his Hollow or Shinigami or Quincy abilities. I don't know about that. As far as stealing Ichigo's powers is concerned, I don't know how Yuha is going to steal his powers, because he did said that is the reason why you are not revealing your true potential is because I would steal it. He does ask this question and he doesn't really replies, but there is a chance that he is kind of afraid that he might steal his new transformation. Again, I don't think that this is his Bankai, but yet if this is his Bankai, I would have more higher expectations than just what we saw, because in the end, if this is going to be his Bankai, this actually has to be his true, it has to be his, you can say that this form, if it is his Bankai, this has to be Ichigo on 100%. If he's not giving his 100%, then all this build up is of no use. I mean, if this is not his true form, if this is not his Bankai, then I'm still quite will be interested in it. Although it kind of would not, of course it won't surprise me. It kind of would make me think that, you know, Kubo is kind of stretching it, but still, for my opinion, I don't think this is his Bankai. What do you guys think about this chapter? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. Till next time. Okay, so I need to apologize for those of you guys who watch my JoJo's Bizarre Adventures reviews. I was on vacation, a very short break. That's the reason why I wasn't able to make the reviews for JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Vagabond, and Dragon Ball Super. I promise you guys, this coming Saturday, I will make the reviews, and of course I will make a double feature for the episode for the episode that I missed of Dragon Ball Super. So I apologize to you. Please forgive me for that. And for those of you guys who watch my Vagabond reviews, I am now going to actually review the series through volumes and not by individual chapters. I thought that it would be better if I would first at least review 5 chapters. That way, I would be able to get an idea how this thing is going. And I think a better way of reviewing would be by volume. So do check out my Vagabond volume reviews. Okay, now till next time.